MOM Radio and Pipe Bomb Radio present Not Your Mama's Radio Show with your hosts, former WWE superstars Oscar, Sir Mo, and Dreamy Mimi.
Welcome, everybody, to Not Your Mama's Radio Show. Here are your hosts, Oscar and Sir Mo.
Good evening. Felix, how are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How you guys doing? You guys staying good? Staying out of trouble? Staying healthy?
Yeah, good.
It's easy to stay out of trouble if you ain't in Baltimore.
That's what I'm saying. All that craziness, all that riffraff, unnecessary riffraff at that.
Yeah, and that is going to be the topic of discussion, at least for the first hour tonight. Our guests tonight are going to be some guys who are on the front line in Baltimore. Our brothers over at the Under the Mat Radio Podcast, NFC Game Boy, Tech, Evan Prout, their correspondent, Shinblade. They're all in Baltimore, right in the thick of the madness. They all got real deep opinions about what's going on. They know the backstory of what's happening, so they're going to fill us in on everything Baltimore, and they're going to stick with us the next hour because we're all going to talk about Extreme Rules, Monday Night Raw. We're going to do our wrestling thing, but we are going to tackle our Baltimore what's going on in Baltimore, our opinions, and, what people should or shouldn't do out there. It's going to be a real deep discussion, the politics of it and everything. But first, tonight, Felix, you are an inspiration to fat people all over the world, to us big-boned people. We are following your progress, and you got I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Felix think about him night and day. How he's losing all the weight. Felix.
Yes, sir.
How did you? 62 pounds, man. Walk us through it. Tell us what. How'd you do it? You 38 pounds from your goal. Let us all know what's happening because you got us all knowing if it's possible.
It's just a matter of sticking with it, going in there, and as much as it's going to hurt you, just realize that it will eventually not hurt as bad, and you will feel a lot better. I got into this, and I was huffing and puffing and could barely do a jumping jack, and now I'm dropping down doing squats, dropping down doing burpees and push-ups and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a runner yet, but I'm working on it. It's just a matter of just not, sticking with it, realizing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
That is really inspirational. So you 38 pounds from your goal. Now, because of your rapid loss and the way that you're excelling, do you plan to exceed? Have you set a new goal, I guess?
Oh yes, actually, and it's funny you should mention that because I've had friends of mine, and out of their own will, I had no any kind of word to say whatsoever, have told me, and this goes on record now, apparently since I'm bringing it on the air, that if I can lose 200 pounds by the end of the year, they will pay me $800 to drop the weight. I said,
$800?
Are you sure about that? $800. I know it's not a lot to a lot of people because us poor folk, that's a lot of money.
That's your WrestleMania. That's your WrestleMania money for next year, right?
It damn sure be very close.
Man, that's
I'm trying to drop
fantastic.
about 250 pounds and be back down to where I should be for a guy my height, my age.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not young, but I'm not old, and I'm like right in the middle. So before I get too old and out of shape and not able to do nothing, I got to do something.
Now, where were you at when you posted them pictures that we see on Facebook this week? You was dressed up like a chicklet or something? What was all that about?
I did a color run. It was basically a 5K where you are doing the 3 mile or the 5K run, walk, whatever you want to call it. And at each, there's like different stations you go through, and they throw color at you. And they spray it, or whether it be wet color or dark or just dust. They throw on you. They hit you with the wet first, obviously, so the other stuff will stick. But yeah, I came in there looking like a giant marshmallow man, leaving like a giant fruity pebble.
Look at that. Finn's doing jumping jacks, squat, 5K runs. You make a big man believe anything is possible, man. Thank you.
Just got to have the faith, man. Got to have faith, because if you don't have faith in yourself, who else will,
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand.
But I should welcome the queen of the show, the lady of the show, Miss Mimi. How you doing, Mimi? Are you in there? I know you're on.
Great. I'm great, Felix. How you doing?
Doing good. Just wanted to make sure everybody knew you were on the air now, because I know we started off with Oscar and Mo, and you came in just minutes later. So we're all here now. We're just waiting on the guys from under the mat.
All right.
Hey, Mo, how you doing?
I'm good. How you?
I'm good. You so quiet. I just have to make sure you're still
I know.
I'm just listening for right now. I'm writing down some fat jokes called Oscar.
You watch though. Oscar's going to surprise everybody, and he'll get into that DDP yoga and drop a good 100 to 150 pounds and be like, "That's right. I can put my leg up over my head, and I don't even have to sit down."
Yeah, that's right. I'll be able to put my leg up over my head. Y'all would take pictures of it. I'll be like hopping on one foot with my leg behind me going, "Hey." Now, just to bring this out, and I'll remind everybody tonight at the end, next week starts the month of May, and May on Not Your Mama's Radio is Independent Wrestler Month. May Independent Wrestler Month. We are going to start off for a couple of weeks having our annual radio seminar for independents, where we get a bunch of independents on the show, we get a bunch of pros on the show, give them advice on how to go to school, break into the business, all of the kind of stuff like that. It's one of my favorite times of year, Independent Wrestler Month. The first thing we're going to do next week is we're gonna compare some notes, and Dreamy and we're going to give our thoughts about Cauliflower Alley and what not to do when you are putting on an independent wrestling show. Now, that should be real interesting, because it was Cauliflower Alley, and we'll touch on this for a second, Mimi. Mimi, how many things did you see at those Cauliflower Alley shows that would not make you want to pay money to go see an indie show ever again?
You said how many matches?
How many things did you see at those at Cauliflower Alley, at those independent wrestling shows, that would not make you want to plunk down $10 or $12 to go ever again?
Well, yeah, those particular shows were, I don't know, I don't think they were thought out well as far as just the length of them alone. That was one thing. And then the matches weren't good. I mean, you had a couple guys that had a good gimmick going, but not a lot of them. And it just, I don't know, it just wasn't good.
I have a perspective on that.
Well, okay.
Okay, here's my perspective on that. As somebody who books shows, right? And I'm sure Felix can relate to this as well as you guys can relate to this. Felix, using your train of thought, right? think of 10 people in your mind that you know from the WWE roster, right?
Okay.
That you could put in the matches and they'll have a good match. Can you think of 10 people?
I can think of maybe not 10, but definitely a few.
You could put together 5 good matches, though, right?
I think so.
From that talent pool. Okay, here's my perspective. I was just using it as an example, but here's my perspective on that. What that is that is all those different promotions on the West take all the guys that want to volunteer and work those shows, right?
Uh-huh.
So you got 60, 70 guys that want to work those shows that whoever the book is don't know nothing about A to Z about anybody, so he don't really have a clue as to how to match them up. You know what I mean? And see, matchups is very important, regardless of how much wrestling knowledge you might have or wrestling ability you might have. If you have 2 guys that's on 2 different wavelengths, like so many are, this guy just want to get his stuff in, this guy just want to get his stuff in, and they're trying to go out there wrestling at the same time get their stuff in without knowing how to put it together and make it mean something. You're gonna have the crappiest show that you because you got 60 people that you don't know nothing about. You know what I mean? And it's going to be very difficult. I'm not saying that everybody on those events had talent, because I didn't see that. I'm pretty sure that they didn't. Because anytime you get a bunch of guys that volunteer to work something for free, you're going to get a cesspool of, gaga. You know what I mean? But that's generally what happens. When you get a bunch of guys that volunteer to do something, and they volunteering to do it for free, 9 times out of 10, those are the same ones that can't get nobody to pay them to work. And so it's not going to be a good thing. But that's just my perspective on it.
No.
And I mean, I think that,
doo-doo.
Yeah, I don't think that all of the guys that were on the show were just, like you said, garbage, or because some of the guys, they had some good guys on the show too. But I do totally agree with you as far as you saying that, when it comes down to it, there were 6 different promotions. So if there's 6 different promotions being put together, whoever's putting the matches together, they don't know all of those guys. So yeah, when when you haven't seen them work, you don't know them. So you're putting matches together. Yeah, it's not gonna come out that great. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, like I said, that this whole thing starts next week. We just, gave y'all a little preview of it. But it's Independent Wrestling Month, May. All things independent. Now, running up our topic for tonight, the first question I got for everybody, Dreamer, you can start. There's controversy all of a sudden about the mother whose video went viral, the one that went and got her son and smacked his ass all the way home. Was she right or wrong, Dreamy?
I think she was totally right. And the first thing, even when they finally interviewed her, her thing was she said she didn't want her son to be the next Freddie Graves. She didn't want them out there rioting over his death. She said that's her only son, and she realized that that's what he's out there doing. Yes, beat his A all the way back home.
Right. She did the right thing.
Well, Harvey Levin on TMZ said that, this was the same, it said there was no difference in seeing that than seeing any mother hitting any kid and reporting it to Child Protective Services.
Right.
So what is the tantamount difference than the way that our mothers and fathers reared us and beat us into being decent citizens than what's going on today? And, does her actions...
You just said it, bro. The difference is, back in the day when my mom was hitting me in the head with a frying pan and a broomstick and a belt buckle and all that stuff, man, You didn't have people peeping in the window, calling social services and child protective services and stuff. You know, back in our day, man, in our neighborhood, man, we used to stand outside somebody's house and listen to them get an ass whooping, man. We thought it was funny, so we could laugh at them the next day. Or you could hear them getting an ass whooping from across the street. You know, we get on the school bus and, man, your mama must tore your ass up last night. What you do? You know, or back in our day, if mama was at work and we doing something stupid in the neighbor's yard, you know, the neighbor snatch us up, pop our ass, send us home, and then when mama come home, the neighbor tell mom, you know, I had to whoop spooky ass today. He was throwing rocks at somebody's house. Mama slapped me upside the head and whooped my ass a second time. You know, that the whole thing is this right here. There's that old saying that it takes a village to raise a child. Back in the day, that's what done it, man. You know, today, man, you got so many self-righteous people, man, that really should mind their own damn business. I'm not saying that people don't abuse their kids sometimes. I'm not saying that. But I guarantee, man, if parents were able to freely whoop their child's ass like they used to be able to back in the day, some of this stuff wouldn't be going on as it is right now. I mean, okay, think about it like this. It's a generation thing, man. This is the deal. See, when you and I came up, when we came up through the ranks, our moms and dads, we didn't have teenage moms and dads. You know what I'm saying? We had moms and dads that were a little bit older, you know, a little bit wiser. Now, you know, just like that kid, man. He out there. His mom come out there and whoop his ass. I saw him on the View today, man. You know, he's 16, 17 years old. His mom is 34, 35. So that tells you she had that kid when she was 16. You know what I mean? You got babies trying to raise babies. You know, luckily for her, she got enough for her to, you know, that she's trying to do it right. But there's some old younger folks out there that got grown-ass kids, man. 30-year-old people got grown-ass 16, 17-year-old kids that can't handle them. They ain't trying to handle them because they too busy trying to be in the street partying themselves. You know, I think it's a generation thing, man. I think as time, because if you look back at it, you know, look back at when the Watts riots were and the reason for that, you know what I'm saying? But post the Watts riot, the last time we had any kind of riot of that significance was during the Rodney King beating. You know what I mean? So there all this time period, and we didn't have that. And then you got Rodney King thing blows over, and how long has it been since Rodney King thing blew over till we had this thing in Ferguson? You know, I think it's a generation thing. I think it's a young mother and fathers trying to raise kids. You know, young girls having babies at 13, 14 years old. You know, they don't even have a concept of what it's like to be a parent. You know what I mean? And those same 13, 14-year-olds that's having babies, they got young mothers too. That's 23, 24 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's too busy in the street partying and getting their groove on, trying to be like Stella, and the kids ain't getting no razor, man. That's all it is, man. You know, folks just ain't teaching their kids right from wrong anymore, man. They really not. They just letting kids grow up and what they learn from watching TV.
Well, I personally think the woman is a hero. I applaud her efforts. And if there was more mothers and fathers getting their kids out of the street, you would have needed less police out there, adding gasoline to this fire that we call Baltimore right now. I mean, if the parents raised the kids right, then they wouldn't have been out there in the first damn place.
Right.
You got a bunch of people out there that's doing the stuff they're doing, mostly young people. So what does that say about every parent of every parent? There were thousands of them out there. Now, let me tell you, put this in perspective of how bad this is. Thousands of people out there, so that means there's thousands of parents that are failing as parents raising these people, raising these young people. And then these older people that need to be ashamed of themselves, because when you do that, what are you teaching the toddlers, and what are you teaching the grade schoolers and the junior high schoolers? What are you teaching the next generation that come up? How are you teaching them to deal with society's problems or society's ills? All right, we got a problem. Let's go out there and wreck our own neighborhood. And incidentally, that's the other corner to the story, because they sure are not. They're not messing with the infrastructure of Baltimore. They're not burning down City Hall. They're not burning down the upper scale malls of the white neighborhoods to say, well, let me show you how we really feel. They tearing up their own shit, which is the same thing they did right in front of my eyes. Now, I'll tell y'all a story. Right in front of my eyes during the L.A. riots, I was right there. Looking at I had to go to the hospital that night in the midst of the carnage, finger halfway falling off my hand, but I couldn't get medical attention because there was gunshot wounds sitting there in the waiting room. Meanwhile, all the houses and the stores and everything burning down are where? In South Central in the black neighborhood. And when all the smoke cleared and all the fires got put out, people were standing in line at the post office. The line was 10 times longer than it was to go see Star Wars to pick up their government check on the first. And if you're lucky enough to get your check on the first, you ain't had no place to cash it because they done burnt down and gutted out the check cashing place. If the bank was still intact, it was closed until further notice. So you go 2 counties over and get your check cashed and come back. You can't buy a loaf of bread because your dumb ass been looted and gutted out the grocery store. And on it goes. That's the same thing they doing is tantamount to you walking outside, burning down your own damn house and saying, look at what you made me do. Who you hurting? All you doing is perpetuating the stereotype that they got about us on TV anyway, because the news is capturing every negative thing they see that we doing outside. They're not showing us cleaning up, or they're not showing the peaceful protests. They're all hanging around like vultures, hoping that there's something break out. And what do? Y'all do exactly what they want y'all to do. Why? Because according to the media, it makes good damn television.
Right. Exactly right.
Wake up,
and don't realize,
wake up.
And don't realize who looks like idiots in the whole thing. And they only and if you look at it, man, just like I said the other night, and I watched that whole Baltimore riot thing. I watched it, man. I want to say 6 straight hours. You know, and they was talking about, you know, about them animals out there tearing up the streets, this, that, and the other, right?
Yeah.
And everybody they was focusing on was African American. Okay? I sat there and watched at least half a dozen white kids. Two of them done stole a car, drove it through a fire, did donuts, stopped in the middle of the street, and then set the car on fire and then ran off. No mention of it. No mention of the white kids going in and out of that drugstore looting. No mention of it. You know, they don't realize that they out there doing all that foolishness. They getting blamed for all of it, and it just makes us all look like savages.
See, what you got to understand is race makes ratings. We said it again. Race makes ratings. When O.J. got acquitted, right, there were as many black people appalled as there was white people. Now, but then there were a lot of, black people that were happy because they actually saw They didn't see a black man get railroaded, even though he should have got railroaded. What I'm trying to say is, this is what the media did. The media showed white people all appalled and mad, but they showed black people clapping and cheering. But see, this is what they showed. But what I'm trying to tell you was the reality of it was there was just about an equal response in the world of both things, but it's what the media choose to show because they're going to show what makes ratings on television. You know, they will show the negative side of black people, and they'll show the positive side of white people because, I mean, you know, look who controls, you know, I mean, you know, they are look who controls the whole thing. I mean, not to really get into black and white and, you know, open that egg up. But I mean, you know, it's really disgusting the way that they portray this, and their portrayal of it doesn't do anything except fuel it. They are the biggest instigators of bullshit in America.
The media.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, they show this stuff on TV. You sit home watching it. It's not making you feel no better. It's making you madder.
Right. You right. You right.
You know, they go ahead.
You right. I mean, I'm sat here, man, and there's some TV broadcasters, man, I think in my mind, you know, some of the things that they say, I could really understand what would make a person want to become militant, man, with some of the things that they say on the news, man, because I personally sit there and get so mad and so worked up, man. Being a militant doesn't even explain how bad how bad and upset I feel watching that stuff. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna elaborate on that because then I have the FBI at my door or something. But you know they do a real good job of stirring shit up, man. You know those are the greatest antagonists on the planet. Wolf Blitzer, that guy that cost Ludacris those millions of dollars. I can't think of his name right now.
Hey guys, I just want to let you know that we do have one of the guys from Under the Mat Radio now on the air with you guys. So I think we're waiting on maybe one or two more of them to come in.
We can go ahead. We can go ahead and bring him into the discussion. I think we got Shinblade.
Yes, it is Sensational One. Shinblade, how you doing, Oscar?
Hey, brother, how you doing, man?
I'm fine.
How are you, sir?
It's a long time. Hey, how's it going, Mo?
Good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. This has been tough over here in Baltimore, you know.
Yeah, wait. Shin, hold on for a second, because we're going to wait for your other two brothers to get on before we get into that. I got another question for everybody while we waiting for NFC and Tech. And we going to talk about Baltimore. We've been talking about it, but I want to get his opinion on this real fast because it's a hot button. Did everybody see or is aware of the Bruce Jenner interview? I want everybody to give me their quick opinion, starting with you, BB. The Bruce Jenner interview, the fact that they're making a big deal, and yeah, I'm flip-flopping, but I don't care. We got 2 hours. The fact that they're making a big deal that he has had this sex change operation, what do you think of that? Because I think not the fact that he's having the operation, my total opinion, my personal opinion is I think it's disgusting because if God wanted you to be a woman, God damn it, you'd have been born a girl. But the sensationalism of it in the media is the real thing that has blown us to a disgusting proportion. What do you think of that part of it?
I don't know. I personally think that, just like we were talking about the other things, just how the media and the world, they love to focus on the negative and the gossip and the smut that's out there. So, hey, that's what they're going to do. Now, what really tripped me out about him is, okay, he stated that he's not gay. He doesn't want to date men. He wants to become a woman, but he still likes women.
I heard that part today. That part don't make no. So you want to be a lesbian?
Basically.
I see. All right, Shinblade, I know you're chomping at the bit to get to Baltimore, but Bruce Jenner, what do you think?
Personally, to tell you the truth, I do not care. I mean, the reports and tabloids were putting him out that he's dressing like a woman and acting like a woman. I mean, personally, I said it on my Twitter that we all saw this coming. I mean, Kris Jenner took his balls years ago, so what's the big deal?
Right. That's a good point. Mo, Bruce Jenner, fan or not a fan?
You know what, man? I really don't have an opinion on Bruce Jenner because I really don't pay much attention to the Kardashians anymore. You know what I mean? I just feel like, you know, it's a damn shame when a woman makes a living and gets millions for letting somebody plow her in the ass. So I really don't have an opinion on it, to be for real. You know where that came from. You know where that came from, don't you?
Yeah, okay.
She made her name for doing a sex tape with Ray J. Come on, man. They got rich off of that, bro.
Well, that was rich already, though. You got to, I mean, you know,
not that rich,
to
bro.
be honest.
Not that rich. Not that rich.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
right.
I know they had a wealthy lawyer dad and whatnot, but
yeah,
dude, listen, their wealthy lawyer dad didn't garner $100 million for doing a television show.
Well, I guess not. Okay.
Well, no.
Okay, guys, just want to let you know we do have the entire crew from Under the Mat Radio now on the air.
All right. Let's get to it.
Hello?
Shin was here first, so we're going to start with him. Shin, give us the backstory and let us know, bring us up to speed of what's going on. How are things in your city right now? That's the first thing.
Well, actually, I'm going to give it to Tech and NSC Game Boy since they're the ones that were raised in Baltimore. I've been here for a number of years myself.
No, but my question is, how are things right now? So just tell us that.
Okay, well, being that I live in downtown, it's been pretty tough. You know, every corner I see when I walk is like National Guardsmen holding their guns out, waiting for something to happen. Cops and military vehicles all around, including at my job. And it's just like, it feels like the scene in, The Dark Knight Rises when you got like tanker trucks driving everywhere. So it's been pretty tough. Again, plus we have a 10 o'clock curfew, so you know, to be candid with this interview, it's kind of hard to have a little tender time at night with the lady when she got to go home. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's kind of crazy.
NSC Game Boy. The most important question of this whole thing is: are they going to fix this by the Preakness?
You said the most important question is what?
Are they going to fix this by Preakness stars?
No, not at all.
All right, backstory. Bring us up to speed, so in all seriousness.
Okay. This is what's going on. First of all, thank you for bringing us on. I greatly appreciate it. To all the fans out there, thank y'all for y'all support, y'all prayers, and everything.
No problem.
This is the facts of the case. At 8:30, there was eye contact with Mr. Gray. You know, he was the suspect. He started to flee the scene. The chase was pursued. He ran for about a block. He was apprehended by the officers in the 1700 block of Pressbury Street. Okay? He was a suspect that was thrown in a wagon with metal cuffs. They stopped at 2 streets, which is Mountain Baker, which is probably no more than about maybe 5 minutes from where they picked him up at. Then this wagon stopped again at Drew Hill Dolphin, which is another probably maybe 5 minutes or so. At that time, that's when they obtained medical attention. Now, the reason why I'm giving y'all this is because this is the facts of the story. And what you're hearing in the media now is that they're trying to say that another guy that was also picked up later had stated that he was injuring himself in the van. There is no way feasible that with this accusation and the physical evidence that this young man, Freddie Gray, was able to hurt himself to this magnitude inside of the paddy wagon. It's just no way. It's no way in the world. You know, it would take him to be in a car accident just to show you, just to give you an idea of how much damage and pressure that he would have to put in himself. So unless he has superhuman strength or superhuman muscles that we don't know about, I'm stating that there's no way in the world this man should have had been this messed up and hurt in police custody.
Yeah, that's the big mystery. I mean, his spine was severely damaged and a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, the big mystery, what happened to this guy in between the time they put him in the car and then the time they got him to, the final destination? I mean,
and that's the thing, Oscar. And the Commissioner Batts, he's committed to final resolution and everything. And the family is waiting for the medical examination to continue on. But this has happened over 10 days ago. And it's almost 2 weeks since this young man pretty much been involved in this. An investigation is still going on. They're still trying to find out. And this is not a toxicology. It's not like they're trying to find drugs in the system. Because with celebrities and with toxicology reports, that takes a while. This is physical evidence. It's lock, stock, and barrel, easy, open, shut door case, whatever you want to call it. And they still have these question marks. And it's crazy. Baltimore is really, really tense. And honestly, I think this is the hour of the storm. The worst is yet to come.
Okay, now let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure.
Now you say that it's open and shut, and they run this test, that test. Is the time frame because of how we're feeling emotionally, or the time frame of this whole thing, how long these things really take? And it's like rush to judgment. Can you punish these officers now to the full weight of the way we'd like to see them punished, or do they deserve due process till the facts come out? Now, the reason why I'm asking this is I was on a radio show yesterday morning, talking about this, Ocean 98, Ocean City, Maryland. These are the questions they brought up, and, I'm sorry to say, they made a little bit of sense. I was like outraged because you the one told me that they got suspended with pay, and I thought that was outrageous. But the facts have not come out, and even if you shoot somebody point blank in the head in front of 70 witnesses, you're still allowed due process under the law, and they still have to go through the processes they have to go through before they mete out any punishment.
Well, let me break down your question. This is what you and I want your fans to understand. In the state of Maryland, if a person puts their hands on you in a physical manner, that's an assault. That is a felony charge in the state of Maryland. But because of some of the new laws that just got passed that a lot of people don't know, what's happening is that a law had just got passed only a few months ago, mind you, that if an officer, rather he's on duty or not, as long as he's doing, as long as he's acting out as he's an officer. So let's just say, for instance, he's stopping a crime, or he's trying to apprehend somebody. Rather he's on the job or not, but he's still an officer. If he puts his hands on assaults, like let's say a young lady on his way to stop a robber or whatever, that is not a felony. That will be a misdemeanor. Rather he had his badge or not. And that's where the problem causes. If it's a misdemeanor charge, they can beat it in court, or they can pay whatever fine, do whatever jail time. But a felony charge is something that stays on your record. With a misdemeanor, this officer, he might get suspended, he might lose his job, but he's able to go into maybe another field of law enforcement, maybe a security officer or something like that. Whereas with me and you, if we was to have a confrontation here in Maryland, it would be automatic felony. And that's the problem with this. They make too much leniency toward the officers, And in this case, when they put the young man, Freddie Gray, in the van, he had a messed up leg. He was, you see the video, they pretty much threw him in there. By the time they got to his destination, he wasn't breathing. He was unresponsive, and they rushed him to the hospital, slipped into a coma. A few days later, he passed away. Who is responsible? They're trying to say he did it to himself. They're trying to say, oh, it's not me, it's not them. The reason why we are marching, the reason why we are protesting is because we all know the truth. And the truth is that someone should pay. Someone should pay. This young man, 24, 25 years old, is gone. No matter if he was a criminal, because I hear a lot of people saying, even some of our fans have said, oh, he was a drug user, or he sold drugs, he was a criminal. So that means that the cops can be judge and jury and executioner? What happened to due process? What happened to having your day in court? Because these same guys out here, a lot of them have been charged with heinous crimes, and thanks to DNA evidence that's only been around for about maybe 20 years, a lot of them, about I say 40% of them, have been beating their charges because they're able to get out and prove that they were wrongly accused. And this is the situation we're getting in. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Tech, we haven't seen the eye of the storm yet. What can we do in order for this to not, for this powder keg not to explode more than what it's already have been, no matter what it had, you know what I mean? More than what it's been doing.
What's going on, guys? First I want to feel honored to be on this show. Thank you, Oscar and Jimmy, Mimi, and everyone else that is on.
I'm honored to have you, man.
Well, of course, one thing's for sure is one thing that to stop what's happening. The issue isn't necessarily the protest. Is necessarily the acts that are behind it. So you can peacefully protest, you can peacefully stand up for your rights and make your voice heard. But the problem is, of course, the rioting and the looting. That all has to stop. All the violent acts, burning the CVS's and the Rite Aids and the senior homes and the church buses and burning cars and attacking random people. That all that has to stop. I know everybody's upset. Definitely has a right to be. Definitely do have a right to be. But at the end of the day, the eye of the storm is the worst part, as well as the eye of a hurricane is the most dangerous part of the storm. Thankfully, they're not going to release the verdict publicly. That's why they turned it in a day early. That should let you know something right there, that they're not going to publicly announce it, because if they do publicly announce it, it is not what we feel should be served for justice, then it's going to get a lot worse. Definitely is. So to make matters a lot better, it's for our people to continue to get together, do peaceful protests, continue to shout, let our voice be heard, without vandalizing, without destroying our own companies, without destroying our neighborhoods, without creating acts of violence. Because at the end of the day, it's only going to make matters worse, and that's going to be our taxes. That's going to be us as taxpayers paying your taxes. That's going to be our money that's going to have to clean it up. So that's one thing that definitely has to stop. Is all the violent acts.
I'm sorry. All right, round table question, ladies first, maybe starting with you. Is there any positive message that you possibly can send to anybody when you loot and riot after something goes bad in your community?
I don't think so.
I agree. I don't think there's anything positive that can come out of that. There's nothing. It's violence. It's rage. It's basically a knee-jerk reaction. When you get into any kind of situation, you need to stop and think before you react, and that kind of thing shows no thought process behind it.
Okay, but you got a lot of people without no thought process behind it. So if everybody all together, you got a lot. Okay, I'll play devil's advocate. You got thousands of people who are all thinking the same way. How can thousands of people be wrong? I mean, we tired of this. I mean, we tired of this shit. We tired of this stuff. I mean, what else can we do? How else can we send the message that you can't do this to us?
Bruh.
Tearing up your own neighborhood is not sending that.
Well, I mean, all it takes, man, look, man, there's Goodyear tire, there's Bridgestone tires, there's all kinds of tires, man. You reinvented the wheel so many different times. I mean, the freedoms that we have right now didn't come from tearing up damn neighborhoods and burning up buildings and all that stuff. The problem is, man, we don't have no serious leaders, man. And when I say we don't have no serious leaders, we don't have serious leaders that go out on the street in these communities on a weekly basis and try to organize people to get things done. The leaders that we have try to organize people from the pulpit. You know what I mean? From the church services. And at the same time, while they pumping them up, trying to organize them at the church services, they got that collection plate running around, but they're not coming out of the pulpit, getting out in the streets, in the communities each day or each week. I mean, look, man, it's really sad. It's really sad that it took all this rioting and stuff going on for Jim Harbaugh and Ray Lewis to take time out of their busy schedules. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate the fact that they did that. You know what I'm saying? That they went to these schools today and spoke to the kids and spoke to the football team and all that stuff. I appreciate the fact that they did that. But, man, don't wait till the damn house is on fire before you bring the fire truck, man. Let's be proactive instead of reactive, man. The neighborhoods are messed up. The teenagers ain't got nothing to do. Let's be out there in them neighborhoods, man, daily, weekly, doing something, keeping these kids positive. Because right now, man, I can't speak for Shinblade and none of them guys. You know what I'm saying? But right now, man, you got some young folks out there, man, that feel desperate, man, that can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you got ravenous wolves that's out there starving, and they gonna eat the first damn thing that they come across that's meat. And that's what the situation is, man. No, nothing positive is gonna come out of that riding stuff. The only thing that's gonna come out of the riding stuff and all that crazy ass stuff that they doing is you continue to have law enforcement scared of your black ass. And so that just means more brothers and sisters are going to get killed behind that gun because you instill fear in them every time they look up on TV and you act like the damn monkey from the Planet of the Apes turn up shit.
Right.
But if you got if somebody would get the communities together, you know what I'm saying, and say, look here, this is our community. We want our community to change. So we're going to elect somebody that's going to do something for us. And if they don't get it done for us, then when re-election time comes, their asses got to go. And that's what the problem is, man. People don't organize enough. They don't organize enough, and they don't go, to the city council meetings, man. Those meetings are open to the public, man. Go to those meetings and voice your opinion. When you got 3,000 people in a city council meeting yelling and screaming that we need to do something about the police, you know what I'm saying? Then somebody's going to listen a lot quicker than you have 3,000 people out there tearing up their own damn neighborhood. And that's just my opinion on it, man. Organization that we have bullshit leaders. Al Sharpton, he ain't no leader. Jesse Jackson, he ain't no leader. Them guys ain't leaders, man. Them guys ain't nothing but in their own pockets, man. You know what I'm saying? We've got some mighty powerful preachers out there, man. They got congregations. Like I'll use Joel Osteen as an example. He got a church with over 60,000 members sitting in his church every Sunday morning. Okay. Leave that church with them 60,000 folks and take your ass to Baltimore and walk the streets. You know, T.D. Jakes, leave Potter's house, you know, one Sunday, take your ass to Baltimore and walk them streets. We got a bunch of powerful people, man, that ain't doing nothing. Sitting back watching it on TV. Tyler Perry. Just another prime example.
Well,
Young black man.
You already know Tyler Perry walking. You already know Tyler Perry and his soft back ain't walking the streets of Baltimore. You already know that.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
You know Tyler Perry ain't. Because everywhere he go, Oprah got to come. So you know that ain't happening.
Right. She needs to get her ass and walk the streets of Baltimore.
Well, here's the thing about Oprah. Oprah made her start. Oprah made her start in Baltimore, but she don't recognize Baltimore, and that's why a lot of Baltimoreans told me about that story. So everybody claims that she made her start in Chicago, and that's why a lot of Baltimoreans don't like Oprah. So she would never walk the street.
Well, at the end of the day, a lot of people tend to forget. And real quick, the preview this was me and NSC Game Boy when we first started the show. Now we've been friends for over 21 years. Is that we made a pact that no matter how big we may get, you never forget where we come from. You never do that. A lot of people tend to do it. And like Shin said, Oprah did start in Baltimore, or as I say, Baltimore with the T. But she don't come. And you see on TV, you got Wale. I applaud Wale for coming. Sheila Dixon. Everybody's on that. And now everybody wants Sheila Dixon to come back to Maryland. And y'all was the same one 2-3 years ago murdering her head because she was using them gift cards. You know, big ups to Carmelo Anthony. He showed up and he walked the streets. A lot of, celebrities come out from here, but you got people like Wale and other celebrities that's coming out that's not even from here, that's coming out showing support, and they're showing peaceful support. That's the main thing that I'll emphasize. You got Chicago in there, you got New York, these other major cities that are supporting us. I always say, if you walk in a room and there's 10 dogs, and 9 dogs are barking, and one of the dogs are quiet, what dog is going to stand out the most? It's going to be the quiet dog. So everybody, and like you said, I'm not going against the anger. I'm not going against any of that. I don't say this much. My father, my biological father, I don't really have I don't really have a relationship with him, but he's a cop. I have a cousin that's down on the streets now, that's in the midst of the riots down there right now. There's a lot of cops in my family. And granted, all cops aren't bad. And I know NSC Game Boy, he can talk in depth about some stuff. I don't have a criminal record, but I know a lot of people who have. I've been around a lot of cops. I know a lot about law enforcement. And the scariest thing to the media, because CNN, we're in media. CNN is loving it. It's stuff. Oh, we get viewers. People throwing rocks, people burning houses. The white man loving stuff. The white man loving it. Everybody else loving seeing that stuff.
No.
But just
let me tell you
think about,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But just think about how powerful it is for a peaceful protest. To see us people as a whole, black people, get together in peace, and to do keep doing protests, keep walking with bullhorns. Sit in front of the courthouse, come up with other ways of getting to them where it hurts, instead of destroying. Or if you're destroying a Rite Aid in your own neighborhood, where you going to get food at? That don't make sense. You hurt your own self trying to hurt them.
What about the seniors?
You got the senior home. I have a cousin. My cousin is about to turn 80. I love her much. My cousin Martha, her Save a Lot and her Rite Aid is destroyed, and she lives in the senior center.
Right.
Because of our people. And I don't want to use the term thug now, because if you use the term thug, everybody's against it. You can't use it, and everybody wants to equate thug to the same way as the word nigga. That's funny how now thug has the same meaning of that word, but I'm not going there. You're hurting your own people. You're destroying the same stores that you just shot at the night before, but you're gonna burn it down. Where you gonna go out to eat?
Right.
Where you gonna buy your grandmother medicine at? And you're trying to get back on cops, and they sitting back laughing at you.
Mm-hmm.
Long as these cops get to the point where they get their just due. Now, it takes 12 pounds of pressure to break a human bone. Now, you can trip. You can accident. I see if you get in a tussle. I still wrestle. I wrestle since I was 8 years old. NFC Game Boy, all of us go through wrestling training currently. You can accidentally trip and dislocate a finger. You can accidentally bite your tongue. You can accidentally poke yourself in the eye. You don't accidentally rupture a spleen. You don't accidentally crush a voice box. You can't accidentally do that stuff. That has to be intentional, and it has to be a lot of force towards that. And like NFC Game Boy said, that lets you know it was intentional. And okay, hypothetically, suppose Freddie Gray was in the paddy wagon. It ain't that much space. Try to imagine even if you wanted to try to rupture your spleen, how the hell you gonna do it in the paddy wagon? You have handcuffs. How you gonna crush your voice box? You know, you got people. You got handcuffs on. You can't do so much. So all of that is BS. It definitely is. And I'll say this real quick, and I'll turn over to Game Boy or whoever want to speak. Me and you know, I'm a known Christian or what have you. The comments that Jamal Bryant even said about his spleen, that wasn't called for. I wanted to slap him in the face myself. The comments he made, y'all heard that about 85% of his, what did he say, his spine was already severed or what have you. Come on, man. You a man of God on TV representing Christians, and you gonna make that dirty joke like that? That was just uncalled for.
Right.
Definitely was.
All right. Well, it's 4 minutes to the top of the hour. We got to take a commercial break. We got to come back with the WWE report. Boys, if you can, I want you guys to hang out. We're gonna lighten this conversation up when we come back and talk a little bit of wrestling. We'll get back to this before we end off. But yeah, we want you guys to hang out. Phil's going to go to commercial. We'll be back with Dream Mimi and the WWE report.
No WWE talent becomes a legend on their own. Every man's heart one day beats its final beat. And if what that man did in his life makes the blood pulse through the body of others, then his essence, his spirit will be immortalized. Once again, it's time to take a look back at what we saw on Monday Night Raw. Not Your Mama's Radio Show presents The Raw Report with Dreamy Mimi.
This is your WWE report for the week of April 26, 2015. It was a lengthy Extreme Rules outing this week in the Chi this past weekend. The New Day defeated Tyson Kidd and Cesaro to become the new WWE Tag Team Champs. And to add more salt in their wounds, Big E would knock off Kidd the next night on Raw in singles competition. John Cena defeated Rusev in the infamous Russian Chain match. However, in his continuous open challenge campaign, Rusev would again call Cena out for yet another run at his U.S. title. How many chances does one person get? And when did cage matches become battle royals? I thought the idea of a cage was to keep people out. But multiple interferences led to a Rollins win over Orton.
And at long last, we know who Bray Wyatt has been spewing his latest rhetoric. None other than the big guy himself, Ryback. Will he fall victim to Sister Abigail, or will Ryback feed on the Eater of Worlds? In a surprise upset, Neville beat Luke Harper for a spot in the upcoming King of the Rings tournament. He joins R-Truth and Bad News Barrett, coming out on top in their qualifying contest as well. We here at Not Your Mama's Radio give our condolences to the loved ones of Vern Gang, a true legend in our business. I'm Dreamy Mimi, and this is Not Your Mama's Radio.
We're back on, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Think we lost Oscar? Are you there, Oscar? Okay.
Chubblewood went to the bathroom.
All right.
Well,
I guess we can talk amongst ourselves.
While Chubblewood was in the bathroom, one of you guys from Baltimore with a T, she continued expounding on the situation.
The Baltimore situation or Raw?
We're gonna wait for Chubblewood to come back before we even mess with Raw. I'd like to hear what somebody's opinion on. I was watching news the other night, and they honestly had Mark Furman weigh in on the Baltimore situation.
Are you serious?
And the way that the mayor handled that.
Mark Furman.
Really?
Yeah, y'all know Mark Furman?
Yeah, of course you know Mark Furman.
Yeah,
you got to be lying.
Bro, he works as a TV analyst for Fox News, and earlier part of the week, the mayor of Baltimore said that, that they were going to stand back and give everybody, time to peacefully protest and tear shit up or whatever. And then a few days later, that she, of course, she said that's not what she said. She didn't want her words twisted. And Mark Furman had the audacity to say, stand up, take responsibility for what you said, and just admit that you made a mistake, that you said that. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, stand up and admit to what you. Okay, fool, stand up and admit how many times you said the word nigger while you was in the LAPD. While you standing there being critical about what's going on in Baltimore. You of all people, ain't got no credibility to be, trying to talk about police corruption or not. You the last. Fox News is just plain stupid, man. I mean, really.
Don't watch that because that's just like Chris Brown giving Ray Rice domestic advice. It's just dumb. Come on, man.
Right.
Fox News is the devil anyway.
Yeah, well, Fox News clearly lets you know what side of the aisle they stand on. I mean, that news right there is owned by the Republican Party. They constantly criticize Obama and any other Democrat that's sitting on anything in Washington. And, that's their job.
Man, y'all know, guess what I found out, man, over the last couple of days? The reason shit's so fucked up in Baltimore is because of Obama. He started the rise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all his fault.
Yeah, he did. He started all
Obama started the riots?
Yeah, Obama started the riots.
Not the Illuminati?
Hey, ask Rudolph Giuliani. Ask Rudolph Giuliani and Donald Trump. They'll tell you.
I'm gonna weigh in what I feel, and y'all tell me if y'all agree with this. The reason and shout out to Eddie Griffin because I saw his note and him saying his praise for Baltimore. This is a cause and effect. When there's a cause, there's an effect. And what's happening is in Baltimore, this generation of kids, of teenagers, of young adults, they don't respect and they're not afraid of the law. They're angry. Their friends are dying off. I mean, think about it. Now, when you think about the 70s and the 80s and stuff, the crack epidemic and the governments and all that stuff, you know, people, with the Vietnam War and everything, and then you fast forward to the Gulf War and everything with Bush and stuff. You know, at those times, the worst thing that you would see was the ghettos and the projects, and you know, of course, everybody, I don't want to live there. And you had lower class, middle class, and upper class families. You had religion when people actually believed what they were saying. And then somehow after the whole 2K era and after 9/11 or something, a new generation of children came, and for some reason, they just have this notion that they can do whatever they want. If you try to discipline them, you go to jail. If you try to talk to them any kind of way, they call CPS on you and say you're not a good parent, and we got to take your kids away, and then they put you in jail. You know, and they can go around and pretty much do whatever they want. And when I grew up, if I acted up, my neighbor could beat me. My teacher could beat me. Know, as long as someone knew my mother or my father, if I did something wrong, they will hit me. And I mean, they ain't gonna smack me or punch me, but you know, they will discipline me in the matter to make sure that I don't do it again. And then they'll tell my mother, and guess what? I'm going to get another beating because I shouldn't have done it in front of them.
That's exactly
but now we live in a society where it's, don't talk to my child. You don't know what you're doing. Or you can't talk to me like this. And it's gimme, and I just push away. I push away. Yeah, and this Saturday, we have the biggest boxing fight in in my opinion, ever since George Foreman and Muhammad Ali, pretty much.
Right.
Like everybody in the world is watching this fight, and I'm a Floyd Mayweather fan. Why? Because he's a black man trying to break history.
Don't forget the great Riddick Bowe and Mike Tyson fight.
No, not to this man. Everybody's trying to watch this fight, and you know. I love Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson pointed out to Floyd, he said, you know, and this generation, you know, Floyd like, hey, you know, I could beat anybody, and I would love for Floyd to use that money to go and talk to some of these kids and tell them, yeah, I got all this money and I'm black and they trying to take it from me, but man, you can be whatever you want to be. You know the difference between being a people's champion and being the people's champion. Muhammad Ali was a people's champion, and he was a leader. We don't have no fucking leaders. In Baltimore, in Ferguson, in New York, in all these places, we don't have any fucking leaders. And it is so crazy because everyone is scared. They scared to talk to the kids. The kids are scared of the cops. The cops are scared of us. The white people scared of us. The Hispanics scared of the white people. It's like it's just going on and on and on and on, and no one's voicing it because everyone's scared. I've been in the prisons in Maryland. I've been through police brutality. They whipped my ass. Did I deserve it? Yeah, I probably did, but that's the kind of lifestyle I lived. I changed my life. Here's the reason why I'm talking to you fellas right now. We have no leaders. And I look at all these celebrities coming here and, you know, we helping Baltimore and all that. Yeah, that's fine and dandy. But once the verdict and stuff comes in, you're going to be gone. You're going to be gone right back to your houses, your mansions, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. They took away all of the YMCAs are gone. All of the recreation centers are gone. But then they tell you don't be in the streets. They got nowhere to go.
What the hell are they gonna do?
Exactly. When y'all was growing up, y'all had the Y. You feel me? Y'all had football, baseball, basketball. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they still here, but they not as here as they supposed to be. And then they tell you stay out the street. What the hell? How the hell are you gonna stay out the street when they got nowhere to go? There's only so much video games you can play. There's only so much Facebook you can do and Twittering you going to do.
But we had none of that stuff as kids. We had none of the Facebook and the internet. And punishment back in the day for us was to be in the house.
Exactly.
Your mom said you stuck in the house for 2 days. That was like 2 years. And your dumb friends still knocking on the door, torturizing. You know you punish, asking you can you go outside and play. Now kids' punishment is to go outside.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, I just wanted to know, what do y'all think? What do y'all think of the notion of what I'm saying?
Well,
I just wanted to get your opinion on it.
My thoughts on it, and I expressed it earlier, when I made a comment about Jim Harbaugh and Ray Lewis coming to town, and then I started speaking about Tyler Perry and those others. You're exactly right, man. Once the smoke clears, once the dust settles on the land, it's going to be like poof. All of those people are going to be gone, and you'll never see them again unless the uprising starts again. And so that's why I said people need to be proactive instead of reactive. Somebody needs to be in those communities weekly, man, working with those young folks.
But the thing is,
you got just like the lady that whooped her child's ass on national TV. They've had on every little interview. She was on The View today and all these other places. You know what I mean? And you got all these single mothers trying to raise these kids, and they can't do it by themselves, man. Where the mentors at, man? Where the real mentors at? And when I say where the real mentors at, not the ones that pop in when the situation is going crazy, but the ones that sit in the neighborhood every week.
But
when the cameras ain't on.
With the leaders and the mentors and everything, what people keep talking about it, and it's like, well, you know what? I can do this for the community. I can do that for the community. I'm gonna do this and do that, and it's nothing but talk, or it's just like sporadic appearances. Because like when I grew up in Virginia, I always had somebody on my back telling me how to do this, how to do that, how to play basketball, how to wrestle. Now it's to the point where the Xboxes and the PlayStations and the plasma TV is raising,
Yeah, those are raising our kids.
And the raising TVs are raising your kids, because now parents are getting so young at having kids. They want to say, "Oh, I want to party. I want to do this. My kid gonna be my best friend. We gonna do it." So when like not the weekend, Friday, Saturday night. When it comes to every other fucking night of the week, it's like,
of course,
they go out to party and they do this. Where is the kid? The kid at home watching Cinemax and all this stuff, butt naked people having sex pornos and all that stuff. So the TV is raising them through what they watch. So that's why when parents come out to the school and talk and say, when the teachers say your kid is not doing this subject because X, Y, and Z, and the parent stands back and it's like, that's your fault. You need to be teaching our kids how to do it. No, you fucking don't. You have to do it.
Wrong, right. You're right.
My mother did it to the point where she's like, you're responsible to do what you got to do, and I go to school and I do what I got to do. I wasn't an honor student, but I did what I had to do. I wasn't running the streets at night talking about this, that, and the third. I kept my fucking pants up. So it's like, now there is no such thing as parenting anymore. It's very few and far between, and that's where the kids are acting out, because when I saw them up Mondawmin Mall firing rocks at police cars, I'm like, where the parents at? Where are they? Where are they? And there's none in existence except for the one that slapped her child around. You know what's great about her? She got notoriety. All the parents are looking at her like, oh, it's okay to slap your child around when they do rioting and stuff like that. It's been okay for the last 50, 60 years. If your child is acting out, you need to let them know. Instead of when you do it in a Walmart or in a Target, people look at you like, oh, they don't know how to control their kid. When the kid is nuts, not the parent. So when it comes to things of that nature, it's like when now is what Energy Gizmo was saying, it's the entitlement epidemic. It's because the child is entitled to everything of what they want. Oh, I'm growing up. I want an iPod. I want a Samsung. I want a 48 plasma TV. No, you don't. You need an education and a mindset and a work ethic to get you to build character. Because there's a lot of lazy kids over here to the point where people are looking for 22, 23-year-olds to get a job, and me being of age, I can snatch the job from them because I have more intelligence when they have more resources than when I went to school. And that's what's wrong with our society today.
They put our ass on TV like slapping your kid around is something new. Well, if you can get on TV for slapping your kid around, my mama should have had her own talk show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, here's what's funny, man. I found this funny, too. They were doing, I think it was a Today Show, and they had a question, everybody was weighing in. Do you or do you not take your kids, out to eat in a restaurant? And if so, will they act accordingly? Well, here's my thoughts on that, because and Oscar, you know me, and you've been with me and my children in public, and my kids know how to act. And the reason they know how to act in public is because they get their ass tore up at home when they don't act right. And the last
Little Bobby, tell everybody shut up. When he was little,
he was 3. He was 3. He was 3. I wasn't finna tear his little ass up. But anyway, but I was referring to Krista Joyce and that.
I know what you mean.
I know. Yeah. But the thing about it is they were having this debate on the news, and it's like the brother said, man, don't wait till you in the damn drugstore to have to spank your child. If you take that child with you in the store, they should know, first of all, walking in the store, don't touch nothing, don't ask for nothing. Anything that you're going to get, I'm going to get it for you. And if you go in here and you act the fool, when we get out of here, you're going to get your ass tore up. And so the next time you won't do that. And it's like the brother said, moms ain't got dads. Dads out doing whatever the hell they want to do. And then the moms trying to keep up with their girlfriend, trying to see who could be the jazzest in the club, or who could smoke more weed better than the other one, or dress sluttier than the other one, or whatever. I used to travel around. I used to talk to parents about their kids, and I used to use CPR as an example of how they should be with their kids at night. When you give a CPR, and they've changed the method a little bit, but I've been through the class quite a few times. And at first, the first time I went through the class, you used to give them 3 rescue breathing, and then you would do 15 chest compressions. 3 rescue breathing and 15 chest compressions is what you used to have to do when you do CPR. Now they changed it to 5 and 3 and whatever. But I use CPR as an example to say, look, ladies and gentlemen, every night of the week, when your kids come home from school, you spend 15 minutes sitting down at a table with your kids. Shut your damn mouth. Don't say nothing. Listen to everything they say. Listen to what they got going on in their lives. And then advise them accordingly. You cannot have your kids come home, throw their books down, and sit their ass in front of the TV until it's time to go to bed. And then expect the teacher to teach them everything that they need to be taught. That's not the way it works. You're supposed to work with your kid. Before your kid hit Head Start, you're supposed to be done work with your kids on the colors and count from 1 to 10 and their ABC. These are things, as a good parent, you're supposed to work with your kids on. As a good parent, you're supposed to say to your son, listen. And I'm telling you from experience, I'm not telling you something that I made up in my head. I'm telling you something that I've already lived. You have got to finish high school, get a high school diploma, you have got to try your best in every situation possible to keep your criminal background clean. You know, if you intend to go to a good college. You know, some people don't have aspirations of going to college. Some people, even if they had aspirations of going to college, ain't ever gonna get a chance to go because of their situation, where they grew up and their family dynamic or whatever. Unless somebody encouraged them to change their situation. No, mom and dad don't have money. My family's poor. Okay, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my black ass down there to Food Line or to Bi-Lo or to Kroger, whatever the grocery store is. I'm gonna bag groceries and I'm gonna save every penny and I'm gonna pay for my own thing. And so many folks have done that. You know, and been successful. You know?
One thing we gotta remember too, real quick, I'm not sure about how much anybody has, believe in God or not a religion. It's a good point that my good old buddy Elijah Burke mentioned, and some other people. I spoke to Elijah Burke earlier today, and I was thinking the same thing. Is America for so long recently tried to get rid of God. They try to not acknowledge any God at all.
Right.
They try to get in God we trust off the dollar bill. They got the Ten Commandments, which a lot of our statutes and laws and Constitution and any laws based upon. They got that taken off. I forgot what city it was. So America went through so hard to try to get rid of God, to get rid of this, that, and the other, and taking prayer out of schools and what have you. And more so of monotheism. Any religion that believes in one God, whether it be you're a Jew or you're a Muslim or a Christian. But yet, when times like this happen, now America wants to get back on God. You can't keep doing that. And it even shows in history. 9/11 happened. Everybody was in God we trust. And God bless America. God, going to church and going to, going to the synagogues, and everybody was on God. And then after everything rusted, everybody forgot about God and they didn't want nothing to do with God. Now this is going on, and I've seen tweets on Facebook. Oh, praise God, God bless us. Oh, God bless America. And y'all were the same ones that wanted to get rid of him or not have any acknowledgement of him, regardless of what you believe in, at all. Right. And a lot of that goes in the plague. You can look in the history books, and it's really sad to see the state of these kids. I know growing up, and it's a Game Boy. One of my few brothers that remember my grandmother. This happened back in the 90s or 80s. None of us would have been out there because our parents and grandparents would have done. It would have been the whole neighborhood would have been full of them black mothers out there whipping all tails, saying, "Get your tail in the house."
Right.
And you got all these kids out here throwing these rocks, throwing these, and if people don't understand this. It's granted, I understand the upset and the anger. But do you realize when you throw rocks and you throw stuff and you initiate these acts against police officers, SWAT officers, and National Guard, I hope they realize the consequences. So if they start shooting out pepper spray and really start attacking them, you can't really get upset. Because that's by law that they can. So it's like, I was thinking the whole time watching CNN, where are the parents at? Where are these kids' parents? I watch Parents Mondom in the mall, which is literally around the corner from my house. I was with NSC Game Boy. I watched parents drive minivans with their kids to loot stores. Mm-hmm. And one of the fat kids was running and pants was falling off their tail. NSC Game Boy, remember that? We were sitting there laughing. It was like, you can't even run. And these kids had black trash bags. You know darn well they're going to get you.
So, Dreamy, taking God out of the equation, how does that affect the whole breakdown of the whole system? I mean, you talking school, you talking everything. You talking about taking off the dollar bill, one state that took the Ten Commandments out the courthouse. I mean, you can't even pray in schools anymore. I mean, does that have a profound effect on this whole dynamic?
Definitely. I mean, you see how the schools have been declining constantly as far as the educational value in them. and as well as the kids, their behavior. Yeah, definitely it's partially, the parents' fault, and the unfortunate reality as well is that people, we spend so much time working that a lot of parents don't parent or can't parent, aren't even around their kids to know what their kid likes, dislikes, what's going on in their life, because they're spending 12 hours a day at work, and when they come home, their kid either in bed or going to bed.
Right. You don't know your kids.
No,
why
you
do
don't.
You think, so why do you think that is, though? What is the cause of that?
I mean, most of the time you're trying to keep your head above water. I mean, when it comes down to the way that the society is set up, it's set up for failure. You got to work your tail off just to make ends meet. And you see people literally working 12, 16-hour days, and they're just making enough to make ends meet. And I mean just barely getting by. And it's one of those situations where, okay, I'm living from paycheck to paycheck, and God forbid if something happens to me and I miss 2 checks, I'm out on the street with my kids.
Right.
So, I mean, unfortunately, that has become the reality of the society. It's just all screwed up. And as far as the school system, when they first took prayer out of school, I thought that was the stupidest and biggest mistake ever.
Right.
Because I know when growing up, I went to private schools. I went to Catholic schools and Lutheran schools. So, I mean, we prayed, and not only prayer, we actually had church service once a week. So now it's nothing but a bunch of cussing, fussing, fighting, the kids cussing the teachers, fighting the teachers. It's just a mess.
I will tell you this, though. In Baltimore, I've been around to the point where church breaking the ice. I hear kids talk about little acts that they be doing at 10, 11, 12 years old, to the point where it even shocks me. And now taking God out of schools, I don't think it's right. I pray. I used to be a Christian. Now I'm of a different religion. I still pray to God. I mean, whenever I need Him, I have Him. I'll pray to thank Him, praise His name, and everything. So I got to the point where if people say, "Oh, you can't pray, you in school," and check for it all, shut your mouth. So I still pray because it's a thing that I was raised on. So I know he's laughing because I took a statement.
Right.
So he's making you laugh. So I don't mind God. I mean, I'm a Baha'i, and I'm gonna tell everybody this over the airwaves. You and the fans of Not Your Momma Radio and Under the Mat Radio listening. My religion practices monotheism. We celebrate all religions that are under one God on earth. That's how we are. We do not separate ourselves from other people like other religions. We embrace mankind. So to see back to the riot, to see people looting and throwing rocks and blowing up and attacking random white people that NSC and I saw Saturday night, it's very, very heartbreaking. To admit, it got me a little bit inside because I got out of work. I got out of the subway on Baltimore Street. The street over in Fayette, there were the cops and there were rioters right there. It was almost in my face. And I had like a white person right beside me that I knew that worked in another building from me. And I just had a flash when I saw those videos that I had to get her to safety because I didn't want her to get beat up. So I told her, I said, look, we got to find some way to get out of here. The bus is diverting, taking other routes. And I'm up there, being some kind of phony Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone hero trying to save him. and I'm like, we got to go here, we got to go there. There's cops right there. People throwing stuff. We get rocks thrown at us, not intentionally. And it just like got to the point where we found the bus and she went to safety. I made sure that she got home, and then I went over to my girlfriend's house to see if she was all right because her place was in the middle of it. So it got to the point where I'm like, I can't go nowhere. I got to stay here all night until the morning. But I eventually went home after 5 hours. And it was just very heartbreaking to me that, you know, my mother's contacted me from Virginia, my family's contacted me, and you know, it was breaking my heart because they were worried about me, even though I was telling them via text. They said, I want to hear your voice, I want to hear your voice. And it really hurt me to my heart that I'm living in, it turned from Baltimore, Maryland to Soweto, somewhere in Africa, the way they were going about it, like it was apartheid again. So it was really, really that bad. I just, that was it for me.
I think, like we were talking about earlier, when I was saying that, unfortunate reality is people don't take the time, and they're so caught up in trying to basically just live, just keep their head above water. People there were rec centers, there were even like after school programs, and just not just the Boys and Girls Club, but just different things, different programs, for places for kids to go and get mentorship, learn how to play basketball, how to build things, how to do other things that are productive, that even help them realize talents and gifts that they have inside of them that they didn't even realize that they had. But we don't have places and things like that anymore. People don't have the time or even take the time to do those things. And then sometimes they start up, but then they stop. They don't continue on, whether it be a lack of funding or just lack of finding someone that's going to take the ball and continue to run with it. So it's just, but it's an unfortunate situation because it's so needed.
Right.
It is needed. It is. So to get on the good news, on the good foot, is that so far after Monday, things have been peaceful. You know, we haven't really dealt with too many acts of violence. At night, people's been respecting the curfews, most of them in the city. So
that's a good thing.
But like NSC Game Boy said, you got the fight of the century, Mayweather Pacquiao, and it really cripples local businesses in bars because instead of having a fight party, you gonna have a sleepover. Because we know Pacquiao and Mayweather ain't gonna fight at midnight, and once 10 p.m. comes, you can't leave your house. So whoever coming at your house in Baltimore City to watch the fight, you gonna have a little slumber party. Grown men and grown women. Well, some people may like that anyway.
Right, because they can't go home.
Yep. The NSC Game Boy, you know. All right, Yerp, you know, might have a little sleepover, if you will.
I haven't had a curfew in almost 20 years. And it's funny
which one of y'all was hosting the party?
I'm hosting the party.
Oh, all right. Oh, we all going to NSC Game Boy house.
Yeah. I hope you get home at a decent time because ain't that much room here. You know, I got to make
room.
I got to make room.
You don't have room.
I got to make room.
You don't have room for Not Your Mama's Radio, Dreamy Me, Oscar, Mo.
I'm pretty sure that if they was going to come, they would have notified the boys, let me know they was going to touch down here in Baltimore.
I'm letting you know now.
You know what I mean?
They might do a run-in.
Yeah, I hear that.
We might let you know what they will. We'll let you know now. There's plenty of notice.
Okay, I hear that. Yeah.
Well, who you pick?
I'm going for Mayweather. I'm sorry, you know, Pacquiao is a very talented boxer, but I want Mayweather to break that record and be the first black boxer that's undefeated with 50 wins.
Wow. Actually, isn't he 47?
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm looking at it from a promoter standpoint.
Is this Mo speaking? Is this Mo?
Yep. Yeah, this is Mo, and I'm looking at it from a promoter standpoint. I want Pacquiao to win.
Well, real quick, if I could say this, another side note, shout out to Mo. I just watched his video he posted against the late great Owen Hart, and I definitely like that video. So I wanted to give Mo a shout out for that.
Oh yeah,
appreciate that, man. Appreciate
now,
that,
Oscar.
Sir,
you got a pick in this fight?
Yeah, I honestly, it's not even a pick; it's a prediction. I honestly think Pacquiao gonna win because you're gonna make 2
times the money in the next fight.
You're gonna make that's exactly. You're gonna make what you're gonna make now plus 60% on the next fight coming up, and they'd be a fool not to do it. Right.
Y'all think that Pacquiao's going to defeat Mayweather?
That's what I think too.
Look at this. Let's break this down real quick. Let's make this clear. Everybody, Mayweather is a great fighter. I'm going against him because I hate arrogant, cocky people. I just hate that.
And you're friends with me.
It's a difference when you have confidence, but when you're you're not arrogant. You're cocky, but you're not arrogant.
Yeah, I am. I'm just not doing it to you. I can get very arrogant.
Okay, you ain't got the Mayweather money to flash the arrogance.
You don't do it to me, but in general, in media, the arrogance, pride come before the fall. So I look at it like this. Mayweather's a great fighter, so is Pacquiao. Mayweather can be beat. He's not invincible. He's great. He's a defensive boxer. He's great the way he hasn't been beaten from people. Mayweather can be beat. However, even though I want Pacquiao to fight, I think what's going to happen is nobody's going to get knocked out. It's going to be a typical Mayweather fight, going to go to the distance, and Mayweather going to win by points. It's going to be an uproar, and then it's probably going to be a part 2.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I believe that Pacquiao is going to damage Mayweather. But I think that you have an aggressive fight. Pacquiao is a very aggressive, unorthodox fighter. And he's going against one of the best counter-punching fighters of all time. The last time he went against a counter-puncher, he was laying on his stomach, knocked out, and they thought he was dead. Pacquiao do not do. This is boxing we talking about now. I'm a martial artist. I'm a boxer. I know the sport. So I'm telling you from a boxing perspective, not no fan no more. It's a boxing perspective. Okay. An aggressive fighter versus a counter-puncher, the counter-puncher is always going to win. Because as soon as you flow and start going into your rhythm, the counter-puncher is watching. The first couple rounds, Pacquiao going to get whip Floyd. And everybody's going to be like, yes, we be waiting for it. As soon as about the 5th or 6th round, he might even stumble Floyd. Next thing you know the whole fight going to change. And y'all going to be like, hold on, what's going on?
Y'all are actually discussing this like this is not predetermined like WWE. What the hell is wrong with y'all?
I mean, at the end of the day, a great defense is good. I'm playing devil's advocate, and it's a Game Boy has a background in martial arts. I'm an actual legit wrestler, amateur, and in their athletic work. I know what it's like to wrestle defensively and offensively. The only downfall of keep being defensively, of being a defensive fighter, is if that offensive fighter rock you and hit you that one good time, you're done. But so far, Mayweather's been good at that. He ain't been caught. Let's all remember.
Mayweather has lost before, gentlemen. Remember this. Mayweather has lost before. He just never lost in his professional career. See, everybody's speaking Mayweather lost. He don't know how losing is. That loss that he had made him become as good as he is. So you're not talking to a guy that never lost. You're talking to a guy that lost and found himself and recreated himself to make sure he never lose again. I'm dead serious.
This ain't the great white hype. I mean, this with Mayweather. I mean, I believe what Tech is also saying is like the pride comes. It's the pride is before the fall.
Okay. Well, put like this: I got $100 to say that he's gonna win. To anybody that want, I got $100 right now. If you want to do it, we can go to $200. What do you got? What you got? You got something?
Who got $100 on who?
Shin, you got something?
Is it a free Mo and Oscar? Can we bet on Not Your Mama's Radio?
I'm not gonna bet. No, I'm not gonna bet.
I know. What are y'all trying to put me out of business?
I ain't gonna bet the whole.
Y'all not gonna be gambling on Not Your Mama's Radio.
We can't gamble. Oh man,
y'all got your whole radio show to win.
Wait. You mean to tell me the great men on a mission, Sir Mo and Oscar, can't coming out, being in the wrestling business, being first, being pioneers, trailblazers, if you will, not going to take a bet?
No, what I'm saying is y'all take that bullshit to under the mat and get y'all turned off God's network. Don't bring that BS over here.
Okay.
All
right. I chill.
Well, real quick, you forgetting somebody. Well, what is you?
Y'all gonna be trying to run holes on my network, talking about we got Betty on live. Betty, for $75.
I got $100.
Oh, Mo?
I got $100.
Oh my God!
What are y'all?
Hey, see, that's what I like. That's what you call a confident man.
9 o'clock is the pickup day. 9 o'clock. Wait a minute. 9 o'clock to pick up Nay on the crack Nay. Y'all gonna be slinging drugs on my show and everything.
I don't do no drugs. I don't know nothing about that life. Yeah, I don't know nothing. If you watch CNN, you would think that we knew everybody black sell drugs in Baltimore, looking at especially Fox News.
It started with
all of us drug dealers.
Wait,
it started with the gambling, then the prostitution, then the drugs.
Yeah.
Did we get stereotyped on Not Your Mama's Radio because we from Baltimore?
Y'all think that's crime? Why y'all think y'all call under the mat?
Hey man, that's where the drugs are at, under the mat.
There's a reason for that.
I love it.
The dope is under the mat.
He said under the mat. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, how important being under the mat is.
Yeah.
Well, all jokes
really,
aside, though, fellas, I think Mayweather's going to win by decision with the points. He's a skilled boxer. He knows how to adjust to everything that has been given to him. He's going to dance. He's going to dance for a long time. He's going to strike when he needs to, and he's going to win by decision.
He's going to dance the whole fight like he's been doing the last 4 or 5 fights.
Yep.
You hit the nail on the head.
3 books.
Now, if he wins by decision, does Pacquiao get a rematch?
Oh, he will.
Look,
I think so.
Oh, he will.
Look, here's what y'all not understanding. I just got to make this clear. I want y'all to picture this, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this fight, Mayweather is not fighting Big Slow. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Fighting the Big Slow. He's fighting Manny Pacquiao. So it's not like he's getting in the ring with Big Slow. He's fighting Manny Pacquiao, and he's going to get knocked out. That's my prediction.
You saying Mayweather going to get knocked out?
He's going to get knocked out.
Wow.
Mayweather's going to get knocked out.
Mayweather's going to get knocked out.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to get knocked. I think he's going to get stumbled. He's going to get stumbled.
I
think he's going to
I got $100 saying he'll get knocked out.
But even so, I can't gamble.
No. Chubba Wub said that. Chubba Wub said that now. That was Chubba Wub. We gotta talk about this off air, under the mat, behind the floor, under the house,
Not Your Mama's Radio,
in the car, in the trunk. We gotta talk somewhere else. Cause
they talk about our name. They got Not Your Mama's Radio, so that means
I know. So y'all keep talking like this. My mama gonna come slap the hell out of all y'all.
Yeah, but see, that's the whole purpose of the name, Not Your Mama, which means our mama don't tell her what to do.
Well, okay.
And that's why we under the mat, because we're not 4 kids. We do one.
Yeah.
We can't be for the kids, because the kids already got Day-Day-E.
Yeah, they got Captain 4 kids or something.
We can't. I'm about to say you can't get any 4 kids in Day-Day-E.
Yeah, we don't
They don't even play adult stuff no more. They do extreme rules. It's not extreme. They do hell in a cell. There's no hell. I mean,
wait a minute. How extreme rules? How is it going to be extreme rules when you have a kiss my ass match?
Yeah,
it's not extreme. That's the joke.
That's the most extreme. No, remember, it's not ass, it's arse.
Yeah, you can't. See, you can't even say ass. You gotta say arse.
What is Walt Disney?
No, it's kiss my butt cheek match. That's what it was. That's what the match was.
One thing is for sure is that we're gonna give a special shout out. And Mo said for the promoter is this. It's a sad day in the boxing world because this is a dream match everybody wants to see. After Pacquiao and Mayweather finally fight, when Sunday hits and next week hits, that's it. There's no more dream matches for a while and nobody's really going to pay this much money to see.
Right. Yeah, but it hasn't been like that in boxing in God knows how many years. I mean, this is the biggest thing that boxing has seen since what? I mean, you know, it's not. I mean, since Mike Tyson, the boxing game hasn't had no breakout star, so they had to create one. And then they couldn't even create one in the heavyweight division. That's why I'm so pissed off about this whole thing. You know, the heavyweights used to be the star. When Muhammad Ali fought, even though I was young, that was an event. When Mike Tyson fought, that was an event. You know, when Sugar Ray Leonard fought, an event. Hagler Hearns, an event. Holyfield. Where did it all go? We depended on Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. This is what got us excited in the boxing game. What does that tell you?
It's no more real good main eventers out there. There's some great boxers out there, but a lot of them lost. So when you lose, you know, you lose a lot of your fan base, and a lot of the stars, you know, they stop looking your direction. The reason why we having this Mayweather talk is because if Mayweather wasn't undefeated in his professional career, Mayweather wouldn't even be making half the money he made, you know. But because he's undefeated is the reason why he's in everybody's mouth, in everybody's conversation. I'm telling you all, the same way they said about the Rumble in the Jungle, they said Ali, you know, he's old and, you know, George Foreman is strong and everything, and he shocked the world. Mayweather is going to shock Pacquiao fans. Everybody think Pacquiao is going to knock him out. This is his time. He's going to learn his lesson and all that. Yo, that boy has boxing in his blood. His father trained him. He has and no matter what you may say, he has beaten every person that came his way. I know Pacquiao and him is 6-7 years coming, but he has boxing in his blood. So that means that he has muscle memory. Pacquiao had to learn how to fight. Mayweather was born a fighter. It's two different things. When you're born a fighter, just like, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. You just said your father earlier, you said your father was a police officer, right?
Right.
So you might have some characteristics that police officers have, right? Like your memory. You have a really, really good memory.
That's true. However, that necessarily don't mean that necessarily doesn't give you always the clear-cut advantage to defeat another great fighter.
No, it does not. But what it does is it explains to you that Floyd Mayweather is not your average fighter. He's proven that. Now, I watched Floyd dance for 12 rounds and win. Is that a good fight? No.
Yeah,
did he win? Yes. That's what. He made the opponent look even stupider because that means that he spent 12 rounds dancing. You couldn't hit him.
That's what we're going to see.
That was funny about that whole thing. All right, everybody stop. Shift the question for everybody. After WrestleMania, with Extreme Rules, did the WWE build on the momentum of WrestleMania, or is it going back downhill?
It's going downhill. Back downhill. To SummerSlam.
Back downhill. Right. Okay.
Back downhill.
To SummerSlam.
What's that?
It's going way back down the hill.
Way back down here. All right. What happened on Extreme Rules, everybody? Because I didn't see it.
Nothing. Nothing but new champions of the Uncle Tom team, New Day, and that's when Baltimore riot because they won. But no, but
that's funny.
That was a joke I was supposed to say on the show, but it was too sensitive when we were talking about it. The New Day won, thus Baltimore rioted because they're gonna see them on Payback next month. No, but it was really nothing. And then cage match was so it was so awkward to me because number one, Kane was the quote unquote gatekeeper, which references the first Ghostbusters. Who's the keymaster if he was the gatekeeper? So it was nothing memorable except for Daniel Bryan being hurt and being unable to compete. And Naomi made a heel turn just like R-Truth in England. She lost. She got a whack theme song if anybody heard it.
Who?
Naomi.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
She had a whack theme song.
The black chick.
Yeah, with the black.
Yeah,
playing the part of the black woman.
Right.
Alicia Fox did it last year with the crazy black woman, and it worked.
It is okay. I know we mentioned Pacquiao and Mayweather. I'm just playing devil's advocate with you in this game, boy. It's just like Pacquiao and Mayweather. Once this fight happens, the boxing world is going to go down. Just like next year at WrestleMania, once Sting and Undertaker, once they finally wrestle, that's another dream match. After that, what other dream matches do we really have in wrestling? So we're on the verge within a year to get 2 dream matches everybody wants to see, and once they happen, it all becomes sad. It all becomes a drought because in the boxing world, who the hell do you want to see face? And in wrestling, at the Sting and Taker face, whatever dream match you really want to see, that's realistically going to happen.
I think hold on a second. That speaks to what the WWE is doing wrong, and they've been doing wrong for years. If the biggest dream match are 2 veterans, Sting versus Undertaker, then you are not promoting the current roster for the last 10 years correctly because there's nobody else that you can pull from the pool of talent to make a dream match. You got to rely on 2 veterans. What does that say about the whole thing?
Exactly. The WWE is like this. We give you a chance when we feel like it, and if you can do it without us giving you a chance, then we'll put our money into you and you're the next star. These guys out here, they are afraid. These performers, they are afraid to be, I guess, themselves. That's why they accept these stupid gimmicks and these stupid storylines and stuff. That's what makes CM Punk. So one thing I give CM Punk, and the reason why I love CM Punk, even though he is bash wrestling and all that, it don't matter. I like him because he stood up. He kept his name, and he did what he's supposed to do. He made it entertaining. He made you watch. He took stupid stories and made them believable, and he filled in seats. And that's what a performer's supposed to do. When you, as a promoter, you book wrestlers to fill in seats. That's what he did. The WWE don't have nobody to fill in seats but John Cena. You know, they love Roman Reigns. The chicks and stuff love Roman Reigns. He's the new John Cena. So, you know, they're going to love him because the girls and the kids buy his shirts and stuff. But other than that, they don't have nobody because everyone's too scared.
No,
Until they stop being scared, they're too scared.
Here's the part you guys. Here's the part that you might not see. It's which, you know, it kind of goes back to the things that's going on in Baltimore or whatever. Mm-hmm. The reason CM Punk was able to do what he was able to do is that CM Punk had already made enough money that he could tell them to kiss his ass. They either went with what he wanted to do or he had enough money to walk away. When it comes to some of the other guys, man, when you just barely making it, because people got this misconception that if you're in WWE, you making millions of dollars, and That's so far from the truth, man.
No.
But if you in that top tier, top 4 guy, you probably clearing somewhere around $1 million or more a year. Then you could pretty much buck the system. But when you're in that low tier, you make $75,000 a year, and you saying to yourself, shit, this $75,000 a year is better than going out there on the independent circuit hoping to get booked each month. That's why guys don't step up to the plate and say, hey, look, I want to do this, or I'm not going to do this New Day gimmick. You know what I mean? Sometimes your hands are just tied, man.
Well, why is it that when some of these stars are in WWE and they're working their asses off to make a name for themselves, but it gets to the point where they either get fired, released, ask for their release from their contract, and they're working indie dates and they're working other promotions. They're like the greatest they ever felt in their life, but when it came to WWE, the top company, they were just like downtrodden. They felt like mules. They felt like mules in a herd.
I'll give you an example. I'll tell you exactly why. Because in WWE, you're not sure unless you got a guaranteed contract. You're not sure how much money you're going to make on a nightly basis. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you're under their thumb. You got to do whatever the hell they say do. You can't say what you want to say publicly. You know what I'm saying? Nope. You can't just go sit at home on your days off and smoke dope and hope that when you go back to work, you walk into a building there's not a drug test sign. But when you out here on the independent circuit, right after coming out of WWE, you know exactly how much money you're gonna make every night because you set the price. Promoter call you and you say, yeah, man, I get $1,000 a night. Vince McMahon ain't guaranteeing nobody that don't have a name $1,000 a night. It's just not gonna happen. That's the way the system works. So on the independent circuit, if you make a good name for yourself, you're going to make more money and you're going to have more freedom. And you choose if you win or lose. But when you're up under that corporate structure, it's a stranglehold, man.
Well, it was the same way with Cowboy Bill Watts. He had workers working for him. He had Junkyard Dog like the top guy in the South, and then some of the guys who were curtain jerkers, like first and second match, they weren't guaranteed pay. He just gave them an envelope, and it said in there, you should be lucky that you work in my show. So right. You're right. So that's how it is.
That's the way the business used to be. I mean, it's haven't been out here, man. Yeah, haven't been out here. I understand the mentality of, you know what, shut your mouth, do what you're told, and get your paycheck, and then hope that you're smart enough to save enough money to one day to just walk away from it on your own terms. You know what I mean? Because that's the ultimate goal. Sometimes you got to get past thinking, well, I want to be this champion, I want to be this champion, I want to be this champion. Then it just becomes. It just becomes, survival. I want to make $2 million and then I'm going to retire. I'll use Owen Hart as an example, and I say this because he and I talked so many times, before he passed away. Owen Hart was ready to quit the game, man. He was ready to go home. He had just finished, before he died, building that dream house for him and his wife and his 2 kids. And he was only going to be on the road maybe another year or 2 at the most. And then, he had done put back enough money, he was retiring. And that's what he was looking for. He wasn't looking for no more championship runs or nothing like that. He had a specific goal, a specific amount of money that he wanted to make, so he could just walk away from the game, and at this point in time, that's what I would suggest to any young person getting in the business. Look, in your mind, think of a specific amount of money you want to make in your career. Don't even be, in other words, don't get bitter if they don't give you a push. If they don't give you a push, so what? As long as you're working, building that money towards that goal, then that's what it needs to be. You know what I mean? It's kind of like saying, okay, my goal is to get a college degree. If it takes me 5 years, then 5 years it takes me. If it takes me 6 years, 6 years it takes me, but my goal is to be one of
the instructors.
Okay, and by the same token, money should be the same thing.
Exactly.
Okay, fellas. Our bad news is the fastest 2 hours of radio is up. I know we can go all night on a bunch of subjects, but unfortunately, it's over. Remember, next Thursday, Independent Wrestling Month starts. Our first couple of weeks, we're going to have seminars. Under the Mat, guys, check it. It's, we having our radio seminars for independents, so you guys get any independents in the Baltimore or Maryland area that want some drop-top knowledge from some real pros over the airways about their career, breaking into the business, what have you, send them our way next Thursday. We want to thank our guys at Under the Mat, Shinblade, NFC Game Boy Tech, Felix Almeida, our producer, Sir Mo, Dreamy Mimi. I'm Oscar from Men on a Mission. Till next Thursday, good night.
Thank you, baby.
See you guys.
Good night.
Thank you.
Amen.
Good night, guys.
What's wrong? Why you up?
Money in the pile. Yeah. Once you get a little, they just want to take you down, cuz. I got the money in the pile. Yeah. Once you get a little, they just want to take you down.